few more admissions here. Hi, Joe.
Hello.
Good to see you. Hi, Ed. Some of our faithful members here. Barbara. Bernadette, back from Maine.
Joe Malkovich, how about that?
Yeah,
Wow.
we're honored.
Well, you can hear, you're fine. Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm going to start. My name is Bill Porter. I'm coming to you live from Richmond, Virginia, where summer is back and fall is over, but that's the way it is. I hope everyone had a good summer, and we look forward to a good coming year. And I welcome everybody. And what I'd like to do is just, as you can see on the agenda, we're going to have, well, Bill Porter. Then we're going to have some updates on remarks about certain support groups. And then we're going to introduce the new attendees. And we're going to have open discussion. And then Mike Foxworth is going to talk about a new survey we're going to do right before break. And then after break, we're going to continue our open discussion. And then Glenn Rabowski will talk about some current research, which is coming for us to know about peripheral neuropathy. And Pat will then close out the meeting with a few remarks from Rebecca. And then we'll go into overtime. For those who did not get their questions answered, we can go into overtime and circle back and help you out. But right now, what I'd like to do is introduce our president, Pat, to take it away and give us some update on remarks.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing here, I hope, and open this up. I'd like to thank Bill for those welcoming words, and thank you for joining us today for this very important meeting. I'm incredibly excited to see so many people back. I think we're at 26 participants right now. I'd like to say that we have a twofold focus today. First, to bring you up to date on some of the various happenings in our PN support community, and also later on to allow for open discussion because we missed that opportunity this summer. So newbies especially might have questions that they would like to ask and or share. It's good to see so many old faces, previous faces, as well as new ones. I'm going to move on then and just explain some of why we needed to have the hiatus we had this summer. As most of you are probably aware, we canceled both the July and August meeting due to some health concerns among our executive team members. You may have noticed that Judson, our behind-the-scenes tech guru, is not here today. With his permission, I'm letting you know that Judson suffered a stroke. It's hard for me to say this. Suffered a stroke in the end of June, but he's making slow and steady progress towards recovery. And it's hard work, and we send prayers and support to both him and Peggy as they continue this unexpected journey. At the same time, Steve Klitzman, leader of the Bethesda Chevy Chase support group in Maryland, reached out to say that he is no longer able to lead the Maryland group because of major health concerns both he and his wife are facing. He is doing more caregiving for Justine, and his own health issues have exacerbated. So at this point, other members of our executive team have also increased their increased health issues themselves, and are incredibly giving more and more caregiving time to their spouses, including my husband, who is going to have surgery on September 29th. And it's a continuing concern. Anyway, That brings us to our request today, basically. We need more help from our members. Every month we receive comments in our exit survey and emails telling us how valuable these support group meetings are in providing both comfort and answers and suggesting new directions and strategies to try. We at the PNSN and at the Maryland group, as well as those in the Western Neuropathy Association groups, are dedicated to continuing these meetings. A lot is happening. A lot of people have had health concerns all at once. I don't know what happened. Suddenly 5 people are in serious problems, but you know that PN is a progressive disease, and as we age, it requires more and more attention. And that is essentially where we are at this point. Mike Foxworth actually calls this current situation what he named the hero model, where someone enthusiastically takes over leadership or takes on leadership of a group, leads it for several years, and to the point where he or she can no longer continue. And if there's no backup, the group is left unable to function, which is where you come in. You knew I was leading up to this. If you see value in this PNSN or other PN support groups you attend, please think carefully on what you might do to support our mission. We particularly need help with maintaining our website. Keeping the information current, posting information on webinars and other events in the PN community, maintaining the calendar, arranging for speakers. We also need help for administering our Facebook page on your feed, answering questions, vetting responses. We need help cleaning up our databases and our mailing lists, sending out the monthly Evite, responding to requests from people for personal help or requests to join. The saying, "it takes a village," doesn't apply just to raising children. It also applies to maintaining support groups. I'm wondering now, I want to publicly thank my executive team for more than 4 years of dedicated work, monthly, basically weekly, planning what has to happen to make these monthly meetings happen and occur and be successful. And I thank every one of them, Rebecca, Bill, Mike, Judd, and Glenn, for what they do behind the scenes. I need now, however, to ask, as I said at the beginning, for your help if we're going to be able to continue not only this Virginia DC group, as we call it, but also now the Maryland group in Chevy Chase, Bethesda. Now, everybody knows on Zoom, we aren't geographically limited. Some people want to join a group near where they live because they like the references to providers or hospitals or whatever, and I understand that. But we have people join us from across the country and even from some different countries. We've had international participants. But basically what I'm coming to at this point is that we really need someone other than the 5 of us who have been maintaining it for the past 4 years to say, well, I did that when I was pre-retired. I could help with the website. Or what does it take to maintain a database? I could clean out the unsubscribes. I think that if everybody really reaches back and thinks about how could I make a difference to make sure that these groups can continue, we can all certainly benefit. And that, of course, is our mission, to support each other and to provide the comfort and answers that people are reaching out for every time they attend. And I go amazingly to Glenn, who attends like, oh my goodness, 8 or 10 meetings a month. I can't even imagine doing that. It's become his life work. I'm not asking you to attend 8 or 10, but I am asking you to think about, is there something that you could help us do that would take some of the burden or the onus of responsibility off the 4 or 5 of us who have been doing it these past years? Mike Foxworth actually devised a short survey, and he's going to talk about that a little bit in a few minutes. But I wanted to give Glenn a chance to talk about Western Neuropathy Association and where they're standing too. I don't want this to be doom and gloom. I'm not saying we're dissolving. I'm not saying this is existential. I am saying, however, we need more help. Glenn?
Yes, thank you, Pat, for giving me a chance to talk a little bit more about this. Thanks, Bill, Mike, and everybody else who's been involved with PNSN, for all these years. Our situation at WNA, even though we're a little bit of a larger group of people working, is not dissimilar. I had gone on, when I first joined the board of directors at WNA, a real quest to recruit people for both our board of directors and for standing ad hoc committees to help us with a lot of these functions. But what Pat has said and what Mike in particular has written about with this hero model still stands. We've had a number of incidences where people, for whatever reason, health and otherwise, had to drop out, and took a lot of ability to work with them. And we wound up scrambling at times to help maintain the website and update things and find people to run the many different support groups that we have. So I do want to reiterate what Pat has been saying, is that if you have any time, any inclination, and most importantly, any skills or talents, and don't worry about how infinitesimal you may feel those to be, because we can always use whatever you have to offer. One thing I will mention, which actually Pat, I don't think even knows about, we don't have a situation like they do north of the border. Among the many meetings that I attend each month, and it's actually now about 18 a month, which is just crazy, is Linda Pettio's Calgary Neuropathy Association, which is of course in Calgary, Alberta. And she actually, at the most recent meeting there, had 2 volunteers with her. But as I've learned from them before, the volunteers are actually sort of compelled to do this. Apparently, if you go to medical school in Canada, or at least in Alberta, you have to give some time and some ears to various health-related nonprofit organizations. Moreover, and this is something I just learned, if you open a casino in Alberta, you have to pick from amongst several different nonprofit organizations to put in a small fraction of your profits to help sustain them. And Calgary actually gets a little bit of funding from one of these casinos. It's a little bit of funding, but it is still several $100s a year, and it helps. And the unfortunate thing is, we live in a place where this is not likely to happen. I hate to say this, because the whole ethos of volunteerism and philanthropy, my wife, as you know, works in philanthropy, is all because, unlike a lot of the so-called socialist countries, we don't have governmental structures that help to organize and do this. So we do have to do it ourselves. So once again, if you do have any of these particular talents, if you have the time, please get in touch with the people at PNSN. Obviously, some of you are also WANA members. We recently set up another ad hoc committee. We're always willing to take volunteers there as well. But it's going to be the only thing in the end that sustains us. As Pat mentioned, a number of the other groups have dropped by the wayside. You all know that CJ Holliday's group is no more. Bill Wilshire's group in Pittsburgh seems to be no more. Cindy Toftagen's in Florida isn't there anymore. We want to keep this thing that we have, as well as hopefully expand it, because more people out there, I'm sure, need what these groups offer. So, if you do have that ability and you have those skills, please let us know.
I'd like to add something to this. The real value that you can bring is to show up. I'd like to make a shout out to Rebecca. Rebecca doesn't claim to have any technical skills. She does have some, but she doesn't claim that. But what she does is brings a voice of common sense to our meetings. That voice turns out to be very valuable, because some of the other people who come to those meetings have their, I won't name names, but some of us just always think we know everything, and it turns out we need common sense. So do not say, oh, I can't help. I don't have any great skills. If you're willing to help, we will talk to you, and it's going to turn out that there is something you can do that we didn't even anticipate. May not even know we needed it until you show up.
I'd also like to add that we are getting more notoriety, which is wonderful in the wider PN community. And research foundations are reaching out to us and asking us for participant to advertise clinical trials, et cetera. And Glenn is going to talk to that a little bit later in the meeting. But we can't let this valuable group begin to just splinter off and dissolve, because we are the feet on the ground. We are the people who are living this disease, living this experience. We have the information to share. We know what caregiving requires. We know what strategies are snake oil or what treatments are possible snake oil. That's what we get from sharing in these community support groups. We can't let this dissolve. Now, before I ask Mike to talk very quickly about the survey, I'm going to stop and just say, this is a lot to digest. We just loaded you with a lot of information about Judson and Steve, especially. And you may have questions you'd like to ask either about the situation with them or our situation, or even how you might help. So I'll open it up for questions and we'll
Pat,
take
could
it
I
from-
just make, could I just make a comment quickly?
Yes, Rebecca.
Because I'd like people to be thinking about this as we go through these couple hours. Next month, we are having an acupuncturist in our group discussing. She's got a PhD in acupuncture. She asked me to ask you if anybody has any specific questions. So if you think of anything you want her to address, please put them in the chat so I can write them down and take it to her tomorrow. Okay?
And or at the exit survey, which we beg you to take 2 minutes to answer at the end when you leave. And it comes whenever you leave. If you leave at 3 o'clock, if you leave at 4 o'clock, the exit survey pops up. And it just asks you basically, what you took away from the meeting, what suggestions you have, and that would be the perfect place, not only to say how you might help, but also to put in questions that you might have for the acupuncturist. See, this is something that goes on in the background that people have no idea. Rebecca spent a lot of time with this acupuncturist. She has personal experience with her, thought that she would be valuable for the group to hear from, and is willing to now take our questions ahead of time. If we don't have any, that's fine. The woman is a professional. She will be able to take questions off the cuff on October, whatever date it is, 4th, I think. But again, I'm going to stop talking and just let it open for questions or concerns or whatever you'd like to bring up at this point.
Aren't we
Okay, are there
new
any
attendees?
questions?
Hello, can anybody hear me?
Yes,
Please
ma'am, go
identify
ahead.
yourself, whoever is speaking.
Yes, it's the first time I've joined the Zoom and I see myself on the list, but I can't find my picture on the screen. But I'm listed at the top as PC, it's my initials.
Yeah.
And I used to attend the meetings when they were held at the Mason building before the COVID.
Mhm.
And I'm just rejoining via Zoom. And
Oh,
I
that's
wanted
wonderful.
to ask the group if I have severe peripheral neuropathy of the feet that prevents me from sleeping. And I was wondering, what do most of you use to enable you to sleep? I know that my doctor has tried the Neurontin, the Lyrica. Years ago, he put me on one Tylenol 3 at night, and that seems to work. But I have heard of other things that might be used, like there is something called it's it's a patch that you put on your feet. And I just had it right in front of me. It's called Qutenza. Has anybody
Oh.
tried that or heard of it? Anyhow, I was just wondering what you all do to enable to sleep, because if you can't sleep, you can't live very
Pat.
well, you know?
PC, let me first introduce, I'm the moderator, and I guess we'll go to new attendees or you're a returning attendee. But PC stands for what to help us out?
Yes, my name's Pamela. My last name, I could change it to put my last name in too. It's Chakra. I've attended parties and everything that you used to have in the old days with Steve.
You said Chatra. How do you spell that?
Chakra. I live in Falls Church, Virginia. But you can't see me, it seems. I don't see
We see
myself.
you.
Well, we can see you.
We can
You
see
got a
you.
beautiful scene
Yeah,
behind
you
Oh, I
just
the
have to
pine
pick
tree.
a, you
You
have
can see the Hawaii Queen scene. You
Yeah.
can see my Aloha Hawaii background.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I'm not in Hawaii. That's my favorite.
yeah,
All
you do.
right, Pat, back to you. You're telling
the
us that you
Aloha
have
spirit
problem
is
with the
so
feet
special.
and would like some ointment ideas. And you've tried the Quitenza patch, you
Uh,
said?
I just heard
I
about
was
it.
going,
I found out
I was
about it.
going to try the patch, but I had someone else who did it and it burns. It's a lot of burning with the patch
Yeah.
that lasted. And they said it didn't help the loss of sensation at all.
Yeah.
No, if it's- Bill, one thing you can do is maybe take a magnesium supplement late
I
at
take
night.
that every night before I sleep.
And that doesn't
500.
help, huh?
Yeah.
I have terrible. It's just like, I'm sorry, like hell on earth. And my primary care gave me just this little pill, a Tylenol 3 that I've been taking for several years at night. But now it seems like everything is very controlled in Virginia, at least. You have to literally jump through hoops just to get that little Tylenol 3 pill. So I
Does
was
the
wondering if
Tylenol
anybody
3
had,
work? Do you manage to go to
yes,
sleep?
no side effects at all. And I've been on it for several years.
So
And
why do you want to change away from that?
but because apparently now they make you it's very controlled, and it's very hard to get the prescription unless you go to a pain management place.
Well, you should
And
be
then they
able to sign
treat,
a contract.
I went to one of them and you feel like you're being treated like a drug addict.
Yeah.
Even though you never took drugs, you never smoke, you don't drink, whatever.
Find a different provider.
If you go through the procedures are, there is an arrangement here. This is what I do. This is what I take. There's no legal problem why you cannot continue doing that. You just need to find a doctor who says, okay, this is what's involved and this is what I need to do.
Mhm.
Your life is important. This is disturbing your life. This is a medical problem. If you can't
Right.
sleep, you will not survive.
Right.
So you just have to go through the process. Yes, this mania about drugs is crazy and it is ridiculous, but that's what we've been dealt with. And you just need to be persistent. Yes, I have a legitimate medical need for this, and you will have to, nowadays, you will have to sign essentially a contract that says this is how much I need, and I'm not going to ask for more.
It's
And
funny, they even asked, I've never done this in my whole life, for a urine sample for
Yep.
drug testing.
yeah,
believe that?
yeah, it's crazy, but that's what you've been dealt with.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you, Mike.
Glenn?
Lynn, you have your hand up. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to throw a few things at Pamela, and then, of course, I'm going to give Helene a chance to talk about a couple of things as well, because I saw her raising her hand.
Who was
Pamela,
the man who, before you speak, sir, I can't tell who's talking. Who talked to me just now before you?
Michael Foxworth.
Michael
Michael,
Foxworth.
okay.
Yeah.
All
And
right,
now it's
thank
going to
you.
be Glenn Murbowski. He's
And
in
now
the
this is
upper,
Glenn.
Yeah.
he's in
Okay.
the upper front left.
Yeah. I
Okay.
certainly understand what they're doing with you with the Tylenol 3 because it does have a narcotic component, and doctors are very nervous about narcotics nowadays. But if you do have diagnosed neuropathy, you probably should not be getting any sort of palliative medication through your primary physician. You should have a specialist, whether it's a pain management person or whether it's an actual neurologist, who could go through a series of other medications and or topicals to probably work with you. There are a lot of other topicals out there other than the Qutenza, which works for some and not for others, but it can be problematic because it's made out of capsaicin, which is basically a hot pepper derivative. So a lot of people can't tolerate that. There are,
Yes, I
however,
have a heart condition and congestive heart failure, and I'm afraid of taking that when I read all the side effects.
There are, however, other topical lotions that some people I'm sure will talk about. Anything from, say, blue goo to emo materials to even things that can be done in a compounded pharmacy, such as lidocaine ketamine solutions.
What
But
is it called?
that's the type of thing that, fortunately, if you're at a specialist, they're more likely to know about.
Okay.
Probably PCPs are not going to have as much knowledge of that, or are going to be reluctant to prescribe, even if they do have knowledge. But fortunately, those are not narcotic in nature. And you won't have to, and first of all, they're topical. Second of all, you won't have to pee in a cup for them.
Right, I'll go to the neurologist as you all suggested. And see
Okay,
if they can help me.
Pamela, Glenn, Helene, your hands up.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You gotta unmute. Unmute.
Unmuted, Helene.
Calling Helene. Calling
There we go.
Helene.
Okay.
There she is.
Somebody put in chat that lidocaine 5% is helpful. I use a lidocaine prilocaine cream that numbs the foot. It doesn't last very long, but it's helpful to numb the foot and go to sleep. It lasts long enough for that. So it's a lidocaine prilocaine cream.
Lidocaine.
Could you put that in the
Lidocaine
chat, Helene, please?
prilocaine. Hmm?
Could you put the name of it in the chat, please?
Yes, and it's by prescription, and I shall find the chat,
And
yes.
also, Helene, I think it's made by a compounding pharmacy, correct?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, just checking.
May
Not the one I
add
get.
something? This is Ricky Peoples. May I add something for her?
I think
Uh,
I
go-
even have it.
Wait a minute,
How you
Ricky.
doing?
Rebecca has a hand up.
Well, I was just
Okay.
gonna say that Ricky Peoples was showing a couple of things and
Yes.
yeah, let him talk.
Ma'am,
Here's-
well, first thing, it's nice to be back. It's been some time since I've been at the meetings because I'm doing so well, and I like to
Yay.
share what I'm doing that is really helping me out. And for pain, ma'am, the first thing you have to ask yourself, are you eating something that is causing your nerves to react the way they are? So it's not just dealing with it from the outside, but it's very important to deal with it from the inside. So first you need to educate yourself on what type of foods and stuff you're eating that can irritate your nerve. Now getting to you having some type of relief at night, CVS has a brand of lidocaine that works wonderful for me for cream.
I use that too. It does work.
It works absolutely wonderful. Or Google any type of nerve cream, and so many will pop up, and it's just a matter of you trying the one that you feel work the best for you. But just those two things, ask yourself, am I eating foods that are irritating my nerves? And the next thing, what am I doing to help generate those nerves back? Because it took me about a year, and with nerve damage, it takes time. But if you constantly working on the things to help your nerves regenerate, I am living proof that you can heal yourself.
Ricky, what was that other thing you were showing
Oh,
previously?
and it's spelled SCIATURNA. And this nerve cream here is just absolutely wonderful.
Is that over the counter?
No, I order it. You can order it.
Okay. Please put that in the chat as well.
I
then
will.
It will help Thank you.
Yes, but yeah, so those two things, ma'am. And if you need any personal help with just dealing with some things, I am always available to give my number out to anyone and just show them what I have been doing to get to the point now. Like last time I was at this meeting, I told you I'm in the high 90s as far as recovery, and I'm still there.
Mr.
I don't-
Peoples, may
Yes,
I
ma'am.
get your phone number?
I'll be more than happy. Can I give it open like this?
Ricky, would you
I'd put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat?
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
put whatever personal information in the chat? Those who want it can copy it. You can either use your email if you prefer,
Okay.
or phone number.
Okay,
All
thank you,
right.
Ricky. I'll go Barbara.
Okay.
What's your last name, Barbara? I say it's Barbara iPad.
I'm not sure this will be helpful for Pamela. After trying many, many things, I did go back to the Lyrica only at night. An increased dose for me of 75 milligrams, but in combination with the magnesium. But I found I do have to take it about 2 or 2.5 hours earlier before I will get really sleepy. And then sometimes I can sleep through the night. But I also have a question, because the one thing I haven't heard much about was cannabis, and I thought that was today's topic. And I was wondering how that is going to play out. Is that today's topic?
No, it is not. We had to change everything because of the situation over the summer. This is the first opportunity for the group to meet again since we had the hiatus over the summer. So that is postponed. We will be addressing the cannabis. In fact, Rich Davis, who is here today, is one of the people who has offered to help us pull that panel together. So look for further future information on that. But feel free to ask questions of the group today if you wish.
Well,
Okay, thank you, Pat.
Would-
Thank you, Barbara.
would Rich know, or would somebody know, is cannabis going to be listed as a possibility for those of us who are having trouble sleeping? Is that what cannabis is sometimes for?
Yes, to make a long story short, yes, it can be.
It can relieve the symptoms. Legality is on a state by state basis. Are you in Virginia?
I'm in Maryland, and
Maryland?
I did find a very expensive CBC THC balm called Rescue Balm, Dr. Solomon's Rescue Balm, that I found on a forum. $30 for a very tiny little jar. And I'm not sure. I mean, it's all sort of subjective, isn't it? I mean, it's just really hard to tell whether.
Well, and even within that product, there's a lot of, variations of it, for lack of a more medical word, I guess. But we did do a meeting focus on this a couple years ago, and I think, Pat, those notes are saved.
Yes, they're still available, but
Yeah.
they're accurate and current. That's my issue. I don't want to post things that are not current. So that's why we were looking forward to having a rematch of the cannabis panel. But we will get back on target.
Okay.
There again is an example of needing help. Rich stepped forward, but he said, I would like 2 or 3 more people who have personal cannabis experience to serve with me on a panel, so that it's not just me answering the questions or doing the research. So if you have experience, please put that in the chat or in your survey answers, that you would be willing to work with Rich or whomever comes forward to make this happen. This is exactly what we're talking about. We can't, just the 4 of us, do this month to month to month. And so if you have some experience, Helene had her hand up. Helene, does that mean you have used CBC or other oil or whatever?
A long time ago, but I was going to say in Maryland, where I used to live, but I do not anymore, the pharmacies have pharmacists who specialize in cannabis and who can advise what might work best for your particular symptoms.
Mhm.
They are really very knowledgeable. So if you can find one near where you live, and if it has a pharmacist, they don't all have pharmacists, but very helpful, the one I knew.
I'll check on that. Thank
Barbara,
you.
where are you?
Silver Spring, Maryland.
Okay.
But thanks, Helene. I will check on that.
Okay, good.
Hey,
All right.
Pat, since I just want to underscore what you said a moment ago, because I think that's so important.
Yes.
And it's very helpful. I think Ricky was speaking to it. Ricky, you were talking about things that were working for you. That's what we all want to hear, I believe. So there's some stuff that works real well and some stuff maybe not so well. And just with cannabis, it comes in a wide variety. Lately, I've been seeing information about, the inhaling method is not the best. But anyway, so I think, Pat, you're right. There's a lot of new information that's been coming out recently that could be helpful to have that as a meeting topic.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, Rich. Are there any other new attendees at this meeting?
I just wanted to thank you all, and God bless you all for helping me. This is Pamela. I'll be praying for each and every one of you. And I
Thank you,
think this
Pam.
is
We need it. We need
this
it.
is a really blessed group. God
Thank you
bless
very
all.
much. Okay, let's go to some open discussion. Would anyone like to bring up a topic? Yes, Marlene.
Yeah, I would like to bring up the loss of sensation when you're walking. I've tried orthotics, different kinds of shoes. I feel like my feet weigh 1,000 pounds. My balance from it is awful. It's getting worse. Does anybody have any suggestions or anything that you wear, any shoes? I can't find anything that's comfortable. I feel off balance with every shoe I wear now. I'm really discouraged about this loss of sensation.
Okay, Pam, you got your hand up. Go ahead. Pam,
You need to unmute.
unmute Pam.
Well, she's
Hello?
unmuted.
You mean
we hear
Pam
you.
Chakra?
Go ahead.
Or I didn't know I had my hand up, but Miss
No,
Pamela, we're talking about Pam Hasegawa, who needs to unmute.
We're on this loss of sensation.
it's another Pam.
Too many
Yeah.
Pams.
Pam Hasegawa. Unmute, please.
Well,
I think
there's
she is
something wrong with her
unmuted, actually,
microphone.
but something's wrong with the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Frustrated. That's a shame.
Okay, let's go to Bernadette and hope to come back to Pam soon. Bernadette, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, I think it's different for everybody. I mean, I have that same sensation. And for me, I honestly can't wear any socks. That's what I've come down to. I just cannot wear socks. The minute I put any sock on, I've bought 50 different pairs. They don't work.
Right.
And if I'm barefoot, I'm wearing, I think you all know I recently went to Italy, and, I walked through Italy with shoes that should never have worked. They don't have support. The neurologist, everyone told me I was crazy, but they're called Roxy's, and they're extremely soft soled. And for some reason, they work perfect for me. And, it makes no sense at all. So I think that we're all very different. I've bought $150 shoes. I have 7 pair in the other room of all different kinds that just wouldn't work for me. So I honestly think we have to just keep trying until we find what works for
What is
us.
it called? What?
Roxy,
Rox-
ROXY. They're very, very
I'm sorry.
soft-soled shoes. But they're not, you can't wear socks with them. I mean, they're a summer shoe. And again, I think it's different for everybody. I really do, unfortunately.
Bill,
Pat,
Put that
your
in the
hand up.
chat.
Go ahead.
I'll put them in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
Bill, I'd just like to say that this points out exactly what we're talking about. We had a podorthist discuss or present to us on shoes and how to get the correct shoe for your particular situation. All of that information is on the website, but it's a year old. Again, if somebody could help us clean up the website or keep it maintained or keep it up to date, that would be so useful, because every month somebody asks about shoes. It's so critical to our daily living. And if we could just get some more help, maybe we could update that. We actually started, oh, glory, 4 years ago, what we called a provider reference, I can't even remember, directory. And we were supposed to post anything that was positive, whether it was a provider, a treatment, a shoe, a drug, but it hasn't been maintained. And if it's going to be valuable, it has to be up to date because you don't want to hear old information. So again, another plea.
Okay, thank you, Pat. Diane, your hand up. Go ahead. Diane,
Mowitz.
go ahead.
Okay, there we go. I just wanted to say for anyone who's interested, tomorrow night, Sunday, at 9 o'clock on CNN, there's going to be a 1-hour program called It Doesn't Have to Hurt. And it's by Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Yeah.
And so I just thought I'd pass that along.
That's great.
I plan to watch it.
And what time, please?
9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, by the way.
And it's on CNN, of course, right?
Yes, CNN with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
I like Sanjay. He's good. Thank you, Diane. Appreciate that.
We're currently on daylight time.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Looking around. Okay, Elaine, go ahead.
I am opposite. I must wear socks, but I wear socks with treads on them. And that seems to help me from slipping. I put shoes on today to go out to the garage, came in the kitchen and promptly went down on my backside. So shoes don't work for me. I was not happy, but socks with treads. I forget who started this discussion, but Marilyn, was it you? Do you use a cane? I hate to bring that up.
Yes, I do when I need to, yes.
Yeah, a cane is unfortunately a very helpful thing.
I use a cane. I go to physical therapy for balance, but it's just getting worse. It progresses.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
And I don't know what to do. I'm trying to get into Hopkins, but you have to fax all this stuff in before they'll even see you and get an appointment.
Rebecca, your hands up.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Mike just posted CNN 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and Diane said it was 9 o'clock. So which is it?
8:30. I think it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I think it's 9 Eastern Daylight Time.
We can check.
Thank you, Rebecca. 8:30. Check in at 8:30 CNN. You'll either be early or half an hour late. No, it's not. It's 9 o'clock. Pamela, I see your hand up.
Yes, I wanted to share that I use the Hush Puppy model called Moyen, Moyen, and it's extremely good. And I use a custom orthotic inside that shoe. If it would help the people who have the feet pain. And now I'm a diabetic, so Medicare will cover the diabetic shoes, 1 pair a year, including that Hush Puppies Moyen. And also because I have Aetna, they will cover the custom orthotic 1 a year, which is helpful. This particular shoe, it's like a sneaker, but it's very refined looking, and it has the Velcro, so you don't have to tie them. Hope that'll help.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Anyone else on shoes or any other open discussion situation?
Brian threw something into the chat about if anybody has tried osseous membrane stimulation for neuropathy.
What?
I know what it is, but I don't know anybody who's tried it. It basically is a carryover from a bone healing technique with electromagnetically pulsed fields. And there have been some chiropractors and people who have also tried it for peripheral neuropathy to try and promote nerve healing. I haven't heard any success stories or stories where it said it was a complete waste of time, so I'm not, otherwise sure what to say about it.
Brian, are you considering doing it, or have you had experience with it yet?
Well, I met with my pain management doctor, and he is the one who suggested that he basically is taking a class in acupuncture, and he's looking for patients to try it on, like a guinea pig or something like that. So I told him that I would bring this message to the group and to bounce it off the group and see if anybody's tried it or heard of it or knew anything about it.
I can, the name of the acupuncturist I see and who will be speaking next month, her name is Orit, O-R-I-T, Dahari, D-A-H-A-R-I, Orit Dahari. I'll ask her about that, and maybe she can talk about it or give some guidance.
Apparently, it involves the two bones beneath your knee, between your knee and your ankle, your lower leg. I think there's two bones, a tibia and another bone that there's just some vibration effect that with the acupuncture that is supposed to theoretically help with neuropathy.
Fibula.
Rebecca,
Fibula.
could you put Ortiz's name in the chat, please, and her studio? I think it's Sun Moon or Moon Sun Studio. And she will be, as we said, our speaker for the October meeting.
That should be a good question for Rebecca.
Really?
So Brian, in 30 days, when you come back, we'll tell you what we know.
Good, I'll be here.
All right, any other comments?
2:55.
Would Brian be willing to tell us the name of his pain management doctor?
Well, sure. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
I'll dig it out of my phone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Let me see.
All right, we got some time before break, and Mike Foxworth, are you able to speak about the survey that we got planned? Where'd Mike go?
Where did Mike go?
He might have taken.
Mike has left the building.
Yeah, he was not expecting to go on till 2:55, 1:55, I think.
Yeah, it's just a little thing that's going to pop up on your. It's ask you for a question, and you don't want to answer it right away. You can wait and think about it, or you can, just say submit and don't have to answer. But we really like you to think, you can, if your thought process is, I don't know anything, or I don't have any skills. Well, you're here, so you obviously have some skills, and you've got questions, you've got observations, you've got experience, you've got life experience. That you have something to give, and we don't know what that might be, but we can use help. And so I'm going to put this thing up, and it's going to appear on your screen somewhere over. Oh, there we go. And you should see something on your screen. If it's on a cell phone or on a laptop or something, you should see something. And we'd just like you to take a few minutes and think about how you want to answer.
Basically, we're asking, are you willing and able to help with our mission? If so, please give us your name and email, and we will contact you. You don't have to say, I can do this, or I think I might be able to do that. If you just share your name and email, we will contact you to follow up and see how we can best interact to support the group. The exit survey is different. The exit survey is at the end. When you leave today, it will pop up and it'll ask the basic questions of what did you take away from today's meeting? What would you like more information on that you heard about? And that helps us plan for future, like hearing the cannabis interest today makes me motivated to work harder with Rich to make this happen. But Rich can't work hard unless somebody else works hard with him. So if you have cannabis experience, if you've used it in a different state, if you've used it in Virginia, Maryland, or DC, consider saying, I'd be willing to be on a panel to answer some questions or share my experience. It's as simple as that. It's not asking for 50 hours a week or anything. It's just simply, how might I help the group maintain its mission?
It's
Mike,
strange.
the survey popped up a couple of times and then it quickly disappeared.
Yeah, I tried to type in it and it disappeared completely.
Uh-oh, Mike.
Well, it's not up yet, is it? You don't post it till the end.
If you clicked somewhere on the elsewhere on the screen, it might have disappeared.
I was just
I didn't
typing-
click.
No, I was typing my name in it. And
It popped up a couple of times and then it disappeared a couple of times.
Yeah, you'll have to click on it.
No, it was
Speed,
very
speed.
fast, Mike. It happened twice.
It-
It just
it-
showed up
it
for a
wouldn't
second
stay
and then
up.
flashed.
Yeah.
Can you bring it up again, Mike?
No, it's still up. It may be hidden behind your
Yeah, let's see
behind
what
the
I can do.
screen.
Mike, I'm looking everywhere. I've under my chair, under my bed. I do not see it.
Well, okay, so no one's answered. We did it the other day and it worked fine.
Does it have a link that you could put in the chat, or does it work that way?
Well, the exit survey is going to ask the same question, so I guess we can just take it down. The exit survey, the fourth question on the exit survey is asking the same question. We just wanted to take 2 bites of the apple, so apparently this apple didn't work. So
It was a
we'll
good
try it again
idea.
someday after we figure out what it is we're trying to do. So
Maybe it was
maybe we
Windows.
did it wrong. I don't know. We tested it almost honest. We tested it, but it didn't work before. But
Well, anyway, when you exit, no matter if you have to leave early, you still will have the opportunity to answer it because it will be, as he said, the fourth question in the exit survey. Rebecca, I have conflicting information about Ori, so would you please put the actual name and address of her studio, please, into the chat? Because True North Acupuncture comes up in Colorado and in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we need the reference to the local one here, please.
Okay, well, I'll get it from her. All I know is True North, and that's what, when she emails me, that's what it says.
But you don't have, I thought you went to her. You don't know the location of the studio?
I don't know the exact address. It's Backlick Road and Braddock Road in Northern
Okay.
Virginia.
All right.
Okay, folks, I have 2:55, and since we seem to be doing some little behind the scenes searches, we're going to take a 5-minute
Okay,
break.
everybody just froze up.
And everyone can go stretch and go to, stretch.
Hydrate.
move, And I'll see you back at 3:00.
Yeah. Stretch,
you.
hydrate, and unhydrate if you have to do that.
And hydrate. Water only. Yeah.
Problems and she knew lots of answers. You know what I'm talking about, Glenn? Glenn Red Bosley, there's a woman you co with her on his program here, and she had lots of problems and she got through them. She was kind of a person we kind of looked up to. She went through so much. Do you remember her?
Who are you referring to in specific?
I don't know. I remember her name. She's a young woman that she first came on, and she thought she might have to die, but she went through all her problems, and she survived. And we felt kind of connected to her. And
Are you talking about Shauna?
Yeah.
Yeah, Shauna's still around. I'm in touch with her. She hasn't been to many of these groups, although she will be, I imagine, at the Colorado-based WNA support group, which is this coming Tuesday evening. She's had a number of health problems and reversals. She may be looking at cervical spine surgery right now. So she hasn't been as active as she was previously. Eventually, I imagine if some of her issues stabilize, we'll see more of her.
Yeah, I'm going through the same thing. I'm going to get an MRI and the X-ray on my lower spine or spine. I can hardly walk now, so it's either getting the operation or get a wheelchair. So I'm not sure which way I'm going to go. No pain. And the thing about that, the shoe business, there was a lot of information. We talked about the person have drop foot that does the special shoes for diabetic people. And I'm trying to remember his name, but it's on. She said the old news we used to have about backup about people with foot problems and shoes. It's listed under that person. I'm trying to think of his name. It was something like that. Anyway, I'll think about it. I'm just taking this down now because most people are not here that don't want to interfere when we normally get together the next time. So I'm using this time off to talk a little bit, and I'll shut up when we go back to normal again.
Thank you, Peter.
Okay, for those who care, I just posted Orit's, her website is truenorthacuhealth.com.
Okay.
And you can find out all about her there.
I checked the internet. That's what we do whenever we don't understand what's going on. And it says that if you're on a browser, you won't see the poll. But I suspect most of the people are on the app. So I don't know what happened. If you're on the app, Pat, did you see the poll?
Yes, but I didn't try to answer it. Meredith said that she tried twice, so I didn't try.
It just flashed twice
Yes.
very fast. You couldn't even, get ready to type because it was just in and out. So.
Okay,
It's
folks,
okay.
we're back. We are
It's-
back, and we have talked about a lot of internal and external things. which I want to leave right now and get to open discussion. And I really don't want to talk about internal things again because everyone knows, I think we've heard enough about that. And as far as the survey, we're working on that. And I'm sure it's going to be on the exit survey, correct? Mike, correct? Right? Mike?
Yeah. Huh?
Okay. One thing I did find out that Sanjay Gupta will be at 9 p.m. tomorrow on CNN. And I also found out that I'd be willing to join Rich in his marijuana presentation. And
That doesn't mean you're smoking it now.
yes, I have.
Has it helped you?
That is a different story. That is just a
tease?
A tease.
Okay.
All right. What I'd like to do is open up for just a more pleasant situation to get on with things. I'm curious about, we know that summer is over, and I'm sure some people went on a summer vacation. And I'm not asking you actually where you went, but I'm curious about how you accomplished with your neuropathy. What did you do and what helped you, especially going through an airport or getting somebody, just how did you handle neuropathy during your vacation? That's what I would like to open up. Would anyone like to talk about that? Helene, go ahead.
Okay,
Helene?
I
Hello?
did not go on vacation, so
Shame
right
on
away
you.
I'm misleading you.
Shame on
However,
you can't
what?
talk. I'm leaving. Okay, go ahead.
Bye.
Go ahead.
But thinking about future vacations, I bought grab bars that CJ had recommended that go in the shower, portable grab bars. And I tried them out in my shower, and one of them worked so well I couldn't get it off. And the other one of the suction cups did not work. But the one that worked was great. I mean, I could put my whole weight on it and it did not come off the wall. So I certainly recommend anybody traveling and might be staying in a room or a hotel or a friend or a relative that doesn't have grab bars to get these portable ones, because I've returned the ones I got and I'm getting new ones because I think they're fabulous.
Thank you, Peter. Oh my Lord, Peter, your hand is up, or you?
Yeah, I just mentioned that I went on a cruise in the Caribbean, and my brother rented a wheelchair. Without that, I could not have done what I needed to do on a cruise. Do you remember, if you ever been on a boat, you have to walk up a plank that's very steep for 10 or 15 minutes. Without that wheelchair, I could not enjoy my trip. So if anybody has trouble walking, get a wheelchair if you're going on a cruise.
Are you saying you rented one to go, or
Yeah,
one
my
was
brother
there for
rented
you?
a very good electric motored wheelchair.
Oh, wow.
Bill?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Pat.
I just want to put a reference in, and I'll put it in the chat, to Mobility City. And they are, he spoke, they operate a store that both rents and sells access equipment. And he is wonderful at helping you find the correct piece of equipment for your needs. He emphasized when we did our tour of the store that you need to make sure that you are fitted to the wheelchair. It's very unsafe, like at Disney World, where you just are handed one or given an option to use one. If it isn't fitted to your actual body shape, it can be unsafe. He will both, as I said, rent and or sell all of his equipment, and he delivers. So if you're looking for any kind of mobility access equipment, you might talk to him, and I'll put his information in the chat.
He's very good. He's very good.
Also, I'd like to say that on vacation, I broke my big toe. I won't tell you how, but I was not kicking my wife or anything, but I broke my big toe, and I found out that the big toe, I'm sure most of you know, is a huge part of your balance situation. And so I had to buy a rollator, but instead of a hunched over, it was a 4-wheel rollator, which I recommend. People come with 3 wheels and but if you get 4 wheels, gives you some balance. But also this one, I could raise the handlebars up to 10 inches. So instead of you seeing people walk down the street hunched over on the rollator, there are rollators that you can raise up and walk straight. And I'm over 6 feet, and it worked for me on vacation. Had a great time, but anyway, that's my story. Rebecca.
Yeah, to go back to Helene, can you see this thing? This is
Must
one
be
of
a
those,
shoe.
this is one of those gram bars. You have to put it on the wall, and this part here has to be wet for it to suction properly. And you
Yeah.
put it on like this. Can you see how that, ugh. Ah.
Yes, I had the same problem. Yeah.
Anyway, and that presses down, see?
Yeah.
It sucks to the wall. And yeah, they come in very handy when you're traveling. Like my shower, I've got a seat in it, if you will. But if you're traveling, you might want to grip one of these things, and they are very handy.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you,
think they're
Rebecca.
great.
Anybody else? Helene?
I have a question, and I think there is no answer. I'm
There's gotta
planning
be an
to.
answer with 30 people. I mean, come
Okay,
on.
good. Next summer, I'm hoping to go to North Dakota. And I only drive with hand controls.
Ooh.
And I can't figure out how to get to North Dakota and get a vehicle with hand controls other than driving my own all the way to North Dakota.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I think I've seen some places where you might research places that rent cars with hand controls. It seems like I've seen some kind of an advertisement for something like
Oh,
that.
that would be great. If you see it again, send.
Yeah, just
Please.
just Google it, or maybe Glenn can offer some suggestions. No?
I had the same situation. Enterprise has one for me. You have to tell them ahead of time because they might take a week to get what you're talking about.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay,
told
thank you.
you.
You were right, Bill. I got an answer. I got 2 answers. Thank you. I didn't think that there was going to be a possibility.
Well, there's a third answer too, and that's you can have your car towed or hauled to where you're going.
I think I'll pass on that one.
It's not cheap, but it can be done.
Yes.
Well, Helene, you got 3 answers.
Yeah, that's terrific. 3 more than I expected.
That's what we're here for. We're here for support and hope and advocacy.
Yeah, Helene, make sure you order in plenty, far enough in advance.
Yes, I'll check with Enterprise and I'll look for the other one.
And
Thank
Helene,
you.
I can tell you, I would check every week that is there. Hey, I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Enterprise says you need to give them 2 or 3 days for them to
Okay,
organize.
that's great.
Yeah.
Well, in North Dakota, it might be more like 2 or 3 weeks, but
Or a fifth, don't go at all.
hey,
Or drive it with an
That's
Uber
my-
driver.
yeah, I could drive, but that's,
No,
believe
I
it or
know.
not, North Dakota is bucket list, so
But I think Enterprise is a good, thank you for the answers.
yes.
Is there anyone else who has a situation on a travel that they happened during the summer or is coming up?
Well, I just wanted to remind Helene too, to make sure on the, the handicap parking or whatever, because a lot of that stuff varies by state. Although maybe, and Peter might know this, maybe that's covered with the enterprise stuff or whatever, I don't know. But just to make sure that you're then able to get where you need to go and do it easily.
That's just, yeah. Theoretically, the parking permit, the handicap parking permit from one state is acceptable in another state, but who knows about North Dakota, so I will check.
Yeah, like for example, where I am right here in Alexandria, Virginia, I don't pay in handicap parking, but if I go to Arlington, you have to pay.
Oh,
So
yes.
It's just good to, you can really familiarize yourself with that stuff. The other thing I wanted to mention is, and maybe Glenn can help me with this, I think it's Samantha Fields, the Sam with, she's in is it Colorado?
Yes.
And she's so good at all that state level stuff and is often aware in an analogous way about other states. So if you have any kind of questions on that line, you might get in touch with her.
Thank you, Meredith. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any other questions, ideas, comments?
Glenn, would you speak on magnesium and the whole issue of the correct one to take or the most effective one to take, and the whole issue also of calcium and when to take it? Because I think so many people are dealing with muscle cramps. We get that question almost every month, and somebody referenced it earlier, and I forgot to ask you to please say the glycemate and explain why.
Yeah, obviously, many people, myself included, have success with using magnesium, not only for muscle cramps and fasciculations, but also to help ease some of the nerve pain that sometimes happens. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's one of the ions involved in the nervous system, and it definitely has a dampening effect. It tends to relax smooth muscle, and it also tends to stabilize nerve impulses. The trick with magnesium, though, as many of you who have had colonoscopies know, is that because it relaxes smooth muscle, it is very laxative. Now, there are certain formulations that are more so than others. A lot of you probably are familiar with things like magnesium oxide or magnesium citrate. These are often used in pre-colonoscopic preparations to basically make you go. And unless you're looking for that effect, and I realize some of us at certain ages are looking for that effect because a lot of our medications are constipating, you're probably better, if you're looking to use it for nerve and muscle issues, to use a chelated magnesium, such as a magnesium glycinate or a magnesium malate. These are magnesium compounds that are buffered with amino acids, and they do not exit into the intestinal system as rapidly. Therefore, you tend to get more absorption through the small intestine before it gets dumped into the large one. There is actually a product on the market called Slowmag, which is formulated specifically to do that. And there are also people who use topical magnesium creams or sprays to try and get a non-systemic and more localized effect. But it's certainly something, if you have muscle cramping fasciculations, it's certainly something worth trying. It's not going to hurt you, other than maybe, yes, in certain formulations make you go to the bathroom more often. What I do tell people otherwise, and this is all the chemistry background coming through, if you're one of those people that takes calcium supplements as well, Try to take your magnesium well apart from the calcium, because chemically speaking, they both have two valence electrons, meaning that chemically they react similarly. And if you take them near each other, they tend to compete chemically within your body. I do know people certainly need, calcium, especially people with osteoporosis or osteopenia, but I would definitely take them somewhat apart, just so you don't wind up in the situation where neither one of them is as effective as it could be.
Are you talking like 2 hours apart? Because I used to take them together until you told me that.
I'm more likely to say 4 hours or more apart. My wife is on both. She takes calcium in the morning. She takes magnesium with an evening meal.
And someone also told me the magnesium before bed, like 2 hours before, is actually helpful with sleep.
Yeah.
I wanted to show you this. It's called TheraWorks, and I'll put it in the chat as well. My physical therapist told me about it for muscle cramps, and it is amazing. If you're waking up in the middle of the night and you actually have to jump out of bed to walk the cramp out, this spray works right away. You spray it, I think 4 or 5 pumps, you rub it in, and the cramp just seems to dissolve. So for me, it's really worked and it's been helpful. So I thought I'd mention it.
What's in it, Pat? What's in that?
That's a good question. Let me look. If I could read it, let's see. Magnesium sulfate. And then that's the active ingredient. And then obviously there's other things. That's all it says, magnesium sulfate.
Okay, thanks.
But it was the spray that worked better than the oil. I used magnesium oil and it didn't do anything, but this spray seemed to take effect right away. Called TheraWorks.
I know a number of people who have experimented, particularly if they have doctors who are familiar with compounding pharmacies, with combinations of magnesium compounds mixed in with things like lidocaine to see like if they can get several different effects topically with one substance. It can be tricky because sometimes these substances do interact. But again, for topical types of things, since it's not systemic, you're very unlikely to have bad side effects. And probably the worst that can happen is that it won't be effective.
So I was in Costco earlier this week, and Glenn, I went back and looked at your notes and I couldn't remember the word glycinate, but I found that there. I didn't find the malate, but they also had another one. I knew to avoid oxide because you had mentioned that, I think, last time we were discussing this. But then they have another one, and it was on sale, and I went with a glycinate, but the one on sale was the magnesium citrate.
Yeah.
What category does that fall in?
It's better than the oxide, probably not as good as the others. Magnesium citrate is definitely used in a lot of colonoscopy preparation substances. It does tend to be somewhat laxative, probably not as much as the oxide, although obviously there are individual differences person to person. I tend to go, though, more on, even if it's slightly pricier, I tend to go more on the glycinate or malate side of things, just because in my particular case, it seems to work better and it doesn't seem to have that, or as much, I guess, of a laxative effect.
And they advertised, I know, I remember seeing that over the glycinate, it said absorption. I mean, that's a factor. And I think that's the one that gets absorbed the most.
Yeah. You want things that will be absorbed through the villi of the small intestine and into the bloodstream so it can work on your nerves and muscles, as opposed to just rushing through there and getting dumped into your large intestine. So
the oxide was on sale, but I skipped it.
Yeah. Oxide is extraordinarily cheap, but most of the people I know who've used it have not only not had the desired effect on muscle cramps, but they often do report winding up on the seat. So,
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Thanks.
Gloria has asked, has anyone used Nervine or Nervive advertised on TV in York, Pennsylvania? Of course, it's advertised everywhere. They
yeah.
have an incredible advertising budget, but has anyone actually tried it? Gloria wants to know.
It's
No.
just alpha lipoic acid. It's
Right.
just a really expensive version of alpha lipoic acid. And they advertise it a lot like it's something special, but it isn't.
Mike, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add something to the discussion with Pamela about her desire to keep taking Tylenol 3. Glenn suggested other things you could try, but my impression from what you said, Pamela, was that this is something you've been taking for a number of years and been very successful. Is that correct?
Yes, Mike, my primary care tried everything supposedly and just put me on that little pill, 300 acetaminophen, 30 codeine, Tylenol 3, and it's worked beautifully. No side effects. It lets me sleep. It lets me live. But now I seem to be able, I have to find a doctor that'll keep, he would give me a 90-day supply with 3 refills for years. But now when I ask for that refill from the primary care, they're reluctant or they give a small amount. And they recently said, go to a pain management. And I felt, I didn't feel good when I went to that pain management practice at all. It's different than the one that the other gentleman gave the referral for. So I didn't feel good at all.
Can you, my question, I need to follow up. Can you document in any way that you've been on this for a long time?
Yes.
Yes, that's very important.
Okay.
What they're concerned about is dependency. Now, dependency typically doesn't come into play until after you've increased the dosage beyond the 30. So 30 milligrams of codeine is what goes into Tylenol 3. That's not considered to be dangerous of developing dependency. Getting up to 60 or 90 or something like that, yes, there is the chance of developing dependency, but that low dose is unlikely. My wife used to take Tylenol 3 back in the day, talking about 40 years ago. They would hand it out like chiclets and nobody had any thought about it. And she took a lot of it. And she went one time for a new job and they did a blood test and they said, "Oh, you're a cocaine addict." Well, she was taking a lot more than 30. Okay. Was she dependent on it? No, she just stopped taking it because she, but you have a history. You need to emphasize when you go to see the doctor, you have a history of using this, proving that you're not abusing it. And that should be very convincing evidence to whoever you talk to. And yes, they're under a lot of pressure from the federal government and others to be very careful how they did, because they've seen what happened with oxycodone. So they're under a lot of pressure. But if you've got documentation that shows that you've been taking this for a number of years without a problem, that's going to be powerful evidence.
Mr. Mike, I wanted to also share with the group briefly. I don't want to hog the Zoom. I really don't, but I wanted to share with you that I told this doctor what you said. I even told him that I was prescribed for years to take 2 of the 30. I was given 180 every 3 months. And I told the doctor that I titrated myself down to 30. And now I was asking this doctor, I don't want 30. I want you to give me 2 of the 15, which is the Tylenol 2. So instead of taking 130, it would be 2 of the 15. Because I told him I wanted to begin within the coming month a better lifestyle with, I know that the other gentleman who helped me will like this, I'm sure, whole food, plant-based diet with stress management, with exercise, etc. And I wanted to see if I could titrate down from, to 15 and maybe titrate down to 0 as my A1C can get normalized and I get healthier. But still, I just felt, but thank you. That is so encouraging what you said. I will try it. Maybe the pain management doctor that the other gentleman put on the chat. Maybe
Actually, the pattern you described of taking less over time makes a lot of sense, because one of the things that pain does is it frightens us. We have this feelings that we don't know what they are. It's very frightening. And then over time, time goes by and nothing catastrophic happens. Nothing catastrophic happens. You've got this pain, you don't know what it is. It's very concerning. And these sensations are very, and then over time, you just kind of get used to it. And it doesn't take as much medicine to kind of calm you down at night and get you to sleep. So the pattern you described is probably very predictable for somebody responsible like you. You've just given this thing time for your body and your mind to become used to something that at first was very frightening and is not quite as frightening now as it used to be.
Well, thank you again. I'm so, thank God for you all. I want to help you all too, if I can in any way, and I'll give you a call, Mr. Ricky Peoples. I appreciate your offering that phone number.
No problem. May I just say to you though, you cannot let this discourage you, because if you let it discourage you, you're going to cut your mind off from alternative ways of dealing with this. So I would just suggest to you, please don't depend on a pain doctor. Don't depend on the word doctor. Depend on yourself to educate yourself on what you have and all the other options out there that you can treat this with without taking a pill. And I
Amen,
can't say
brother.
it enough. You have to educate yourself on what you have and not let it discourage, not let pain cut your mind off.
Amen,
Let
brother.
the pain
Yes.
cut your mind on and say, okay, wait a minute. What other things out here can I do that will heal me? But once again, the sooner you start, the better. And you cannot let your nerves just deteriorate, because then you'll be in a position where, unfortunately, some of the people here are in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
You have to jump on it early. You have to stay on it, and you have to make sure you're doing all the things and make yourself conscious. Once again, I hate to repeat myself, what are you putting in your body that is irritating your nerves?
Exactly. I took good notes of everything everybody said, and I'm going to heed it.
Okay, great. Okay.
Well, the one other question I have for you on that is, I'm assuming that your neuropathy is diabetic in nature, right?
Diabetic, severe feet neuropathy, yes.
Okay. Have you ever tried lipoic acid?
I don't even know what it is. No, I haven't, sir.
Lipoic acid is a substance that has been used actually in Europe even longer than the United States as a treatment primarily for diabetic neuropathy. It is a nutraceutical here in the United States. You can get it over the counter.
Is that ALA?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And there's also RLA, which consists of the actual molecularly active R isomers of lipoic acid. So some people take that, although it's a little bit more expensive. It has both nerve dampening and sugar regulating properties. So the one thing, if anybody tries that who has diabetic neuropathy and is on metformin or any of those other medications, they really should consult with their endocrinologist first, just to work with the dosage, because you don't want your blood sugar driven too low, because that can be just as bad.
Exactly.
But certainly, a lot of people have used it with pretty good effect.
I'm going to get that right away.
One of the best ones I found for the ALA, and he's correct that you want to get the one with R, because there's a lot of substitutes out there that sell it, but if it does not have an R in front of the ALA, it's not as potent. The one I used was called Nerve Renewal.
Nerve Renewal. You get that online
Nerve-
at Amazon?
Yes, you can get it on Amazon. It's called Nerve Renewal, but he's correct. Glenn is correct that what you have to be careful with when you're taking this, that it has a high dose of B12 in it. So you want to constantly make sure you're talking to your doctor to monitor your blood, because when I first started taking them, my B12 got up a little bit too high, and he told me just slow down. So yes, it worked, but am I correct, Glenn, in saying that?
Well,
what I
the reason I'm laughing is because I have a similar problem, and I often have to tell the doctors that there is no known toxicity level for B12. Obviously, there are average, deciliter per milliliter aspects in blood testing. But
Right.
I also use B12, and I use the methylcobalamin form. And I have never had, since I've started using it, a B12 serum level that's within the range. But basically, if you explain to them you are supplementing with it, that should be enough for them. Because again, a high B12 level generally does not mean anything other than you're supplementing with a lot of B12.
Well, right
And
now I
if
take
you've got
6,000
low B12, you're going to be in more pain, right?
Yeah, low B12 is a major problem, and it's
Yeah.
highly underdiagnosed. Certainly, it's a cause of neuropathy and central nervous system dysfunction as well. And one of the interesting aspects to show you how historically these lab results tend to get published and how the ranges tend to happen. The ranges in the United States and Canada usually are given in about, say, the 200 to 900 level. But in Europe and in Japan particularly, they usually start at about 500 or so with no upper limit. In Japan, a lot of that has to do with the fact that there was significant malnutrition post-World War II, and there were a lot of people there who were lacking in B12. But reason I mention that is that if you have, and I bet Pat could speak to this too, if you have a B12 level in the 300s or 400s, while that comes out as normal on a test, you may actually be having subclinical symptoms by that point. It's really too low. In fact, I would think that you basically should have B12 levels if you have a reasonably normal diet in the 500, 600 and up level.
I think mine's at 1,200 now, because my neurologist felt that he saw that I was decreasing in for the past 10 years, every blood level taken of B12 was going down. And he said that might be contributing to the nerve damage and to the pain. And so he has me on a supplement. And I think I'm at the last one was at 1,200. So I'm saying what Glenn's saying. I haven't had any ill effects being at that high level. But also tell them about, oh my goodness, which B12 is important. If I didn't have Glenn to consult, I would be just buying it off the drugstore shelf.
Yeah.
He's warned me, just like the magnesium and calcium interaction, to also think about which B12 you're using. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I apologize right now for the fire hose chemistry lesson that this is about to be, especially for the people who've heard it before. As I said, B12 deficiency is probably underdiagnosed, especially as people get older. Our ability to break B12 out of food lessens because we produce less of intrinsic factor in the stomach, which is actually a misnomer. It's actually an enzyme that cleaves the B12 cobalamin molecule out of other parts of the chemical bonds that it has. The problem with B12, though, is that it is the largest molecule that the body uses on a normal basis for nutrition. It has a much more complicated structure, and you can actually look this up if you want to see the structure, than almost any other nutrient that the body uses. As a result, it's extraordinarily easy to interfere with the absorption of. So B12 is another thing that I take apart from everything else just to make sure that I'm getting as much of an effect as I possibly can. But the other aspect of B12 has to do with a process in the body known as methylation. Normally, B vitamins must have a methyl group, a CH3 group attached to them to be able to cross cell membranes. Now, about 10 to 15% of the world population, somewhat higher than that among people of a Northern European ancestry, as it turns out, have one or more genetic defects in the methylation process. And they do not do this as well, and some people don't do it at all. So if you suspect you're one of those people, or you've been proven to be one of those people, or even just want to avoid the problem, we tell people when they take B vitamins, particularly B12, to get the methyl form. In the case of B12, it's methylcobalamin rather than the more commercially available cyanocobalamin. There can be problems with people who have the MTHFR methylation mutations and actually attaching methyl groups to cyanocobalamin. If you take methylcobalamin, the methyl group's already there and it's more usable. So that's one other aspect of B12 metabolism that at least some people need to be aware of.
All right, Glenn, thank you. Mary, you've been very patient. Your hand is up. Go ahead.
On a slightly different topic, it does have to do with medications. I'm wondering if anyone has heard, a couple of months ago, it was in the news about gabapentin, which is frequently prescribed for many ailments that affect seniors, but it might not be so great for our memory. So it was kind of in the news for a little while, and if you Google gabapentin use in the elderly or the senior citizen population, the articles will pop up. But I'm guessing quite a few people here might have either been on gabapentin or are currently on gabapentin, and what thoughts are on that.
Any response to, excuse me, Mary?
It's
Pardon me?
it's a very good point, Mary, and it is true. Gabapentin has been associated in people in late adulthood with affecting their cognition. So it's always a balance whether if it's helping you. I've been taking it for a long time. It doesn't seem, and I'm 80, it doesn't seem to have affected my cognition, but it certainly can affect a lot of people. So I think that's something you want to discuss with your primary care physician.
Yeah, my joke about gabapentin is it'll make you gain 10 pounds and it'll make you lose 10 IQ points. But there is always a trade-off. So,
Well, Glenn, you know, it's interesting. I was looking at my notes the other day from prior meetings that I have down here where you were explaining to us that it blocks the neurotransmitters. Does that sound familiar?
Well, it tends to enhance the action of the inhibitory neurotransmitter GABA, GABA, which is an incredibly long name that I'm not even going to pronounce. So what it tends to do is it tends to increase that in the central nervous system so that rogue neural impulses are less likely to be propagated. Remember, gabapentin, like a number of the other medications out there, was originally designed as an anti-epileptic, an anti-seizure medication. And it's been repurposed for neuropathy and a number of other things. But these all have the property of trying to damp down rogue nerve impulses.
Yeah, I don't like those rogue nerve impulses, especially when I'm trying to get to sleep. That's when I take my gabapentin.
All right. We're approaching Glenn. Do you have some remarks on current research for us?
Yeah, I can certainly talk a little bit about this for a few minutes. One of them involves a meeting that Pat and Mike and I had with a representative of Sangamo Therapeutics, which is apparently developing a drug to be delivered to the spinal area intrathecally that they claim is going to be something that will actually change the tendency of the sodium channels to respond. Some of you may know that sodium channels are involved in nerve impulse propagation, particularly pain impulse propagation. And they are apparently going to start human clinical trials for this. And they are particularly looking for people with painful idiopathic small fiber neuropathy, that particular diagnosis. They were actually even looking for a person to actually speak to their researchers and medical people there about the difficulties of living with that particular diagnosis. So, if you do have that diagnosis, we can probably put you in touch with them. And it may be interesting to see where they want to go. They're planning a small initial phase 1 trial, and it's supposed to be taking place in a number of different locations around the United States, from Weill Cornell to Johns Hopkins to, what did they say, Virginia Commonwealth, I think, Pat, they also mentioned, and they mentioned somewhere out in Arizona.
Right, 12 different sites.
12
Helene,
different sites.
remind me where you are. You're in New York.
I'm on Long Island.
Okay. We definitely can put you in touch with them. They actually are asking for a person who is suffering painful, as we said, spinal, I'm tired, I'm sorry. And they want someone to actually talk about their lived experience to their staff, to their clinical staff, to raise their awareness of what it is in terms of day-to-day living, what it's like. And I told them I would ask at this meeting if anyone is at all interested. We can put you in touch with Debbie, and you can work out whether you want to do it or not based on your
Pat,
exchange.
I would like to do it. Can you put me in touch with them? This is
And who
Larry
is-
Silverberg.
Silverberg, okay, Larry, and Helene, anyone
Helene
else?
is a little afraid of speaking in front of people, but I could give it a
Come on,
shot.
Helene, come on.
Yeah.
Well, we will give them, with your permission, your emails and let you go forward with it. We aren't going to be interventionists or anything.
Okay.
You'll
Do we have-
just have
do
a
we-
direct interaction with them and decide whether it's something you want to pursue or not.
Do we have their contact information handy?
Well, I will. I didn't think of that, but go ahead. I will look for
Yeah,
that.
we can get it for you. Larry, of course, they'll be frightened
We
by
can
him
put it in the
because
chat,
Larry's
that
an
would be
MD.
helpful.
I'm sorry to
Or Lawrence, you can write us
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
we
just
have
tell
their
us.
emails. It's no problem.
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn.
Let me add one more thing to what Glenn said about this is
Excuse me, Mike, let Glenn finish and then we'll
Yeah,
come to
I
you.
just have one other quick one, Mike, that I'll talk about. I have recently also been contacted by an organization you guys may know something about, which is Grifols, which is an international drug manufacturer. They do a lot of plasma-based drugs. So they've done things that involve, immunocompromise and certainly hypergammaglobulinemia, which basically is when you don't have enough immunoglobulins to drive off infections. They contacted me and a number of other people from the CIDP, chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy side of the world, because apparently they have a new formulation of intravenous immunoglobulin that they want to start trying out on people with that diagnosis. I don't know if anybody here falls into that category, anybody here a CIDP or variant patient, but apparently they are in the process of wanting to get some feedback from such patients in order, I think, to really determine how to market this particular thing for them. So there is that as well.
Hey, Glenn, is there anything on Winsantor, which people have heard about?
I have not been able to get a hold of Stanley Kim there, and I have a feeling the money's run out and they're currently, if not defunct, they're in hiatus, and that's a shame.
Such a shame.
Yeah.
I just want to say that it's idiopathic small fiber. They do not want diabetic. So if Helene and Larry, this is Sangamo, only idiopathic small fiber.
Okay, Pamela, you had your hand up?
Yes,
Go ahead.
I missed a little of that. Are you talking about the SCS spinal cord stimulation
No,
that then?
no,
No,
that's a completely different thing.
Okay.
totally different.
Will,
Mike,
will-
your
will you
hands
be
up.
putting in the chat what this is that you're talking about? I didn't get what it is that that
Yeah, we
Pat
can,
had.
yeah, we can write it up.
Thank you.
Mike, go ahead.
I just wanted to add about this product that Glenn was talking about that they're trying to test for idiopathic small fiber. What is causing their difficulty is that it's not something you take frequently. So it's designed to be take a shot once in your life. And that is not particularly attractive to the money people. They want something that you have to take repeatedly for the rest of your life. That's what they love, and that attracts money. So we're seeing now the federal government cutting way back on research, all kinds of medical research. So this company is obviously in a situation where they're very concerned about being able to conduct their research in an environment where they're proposing something that isn't something that is going to attract a lot of investors because they're expecting to see a gold mine. So this is the kind of thing where research by the federal government, especially, is really helpful. And when the federal government cuts back on its research, we're all, you know, we're going to may have end up the company not being able to be successful.
Hey, it's the background noise. All right. Finish up, Mike. Go ahead.
Done.
All right, what we're going to do is go to closing remarks by Pat, but before we close with Pat, you know what I'm going to say? Motion is lotion, rest is rust. And if you're lifting weights, go slow and go low. And also don't say you can't, so you can modify. Okay?
Those are Bill Porter's personal mantras. All right.
Okay, go ahead, Pat.
Time for our closing wrap up. I just want to mention the upcoming meetings that are happening and welcome all of you to come to any or all of them. Our PNSN next meeting will be October 4th on the first Saturday. Treating pain, PN pain with acupuncture. Rebecca mentioned it. If you have questions, please, for the acupuncturist, put them in the exit survey or in the chat now. The Bethesda Chevy Chase meeting will go forward on September 18th. That's the third Thursday at 7 o'clock ET, Eastern Time. And that is open discussion. Eleni from Suburban Hospital has kindly agreed to continue to provide the tech support that she has received. And so we will be able to continue that group, though we will be looking for a leader, perhaps from some of those who regularly attend going forward. Western Neuropathy Association has a myriad of groups meeting at different days and times. You can find that information on pnhelp.org. And we should have been putting this in the chat, but anyway, pnhelp.org if you want a list of all of their groups that meet on their days and times. Note that their website lists the times as Pacific,
yes,
whereas we, the PNSN and Bethesda Chevy Chase, are Eastern. Remember, please, to take a moment when you exit today to answer our brief exit survey. Think about how you might help maintain this group moving forward. If you leave your name and email, we will get back in touch with you. I wanted to also tell you my personal experience with the new COVID shot, which I got yesterday, which I think is part of my brain fog today. I'm feeling sort of weird, cottony headed. Anyway, they noted on NBC this morning that many seniors are being turned away despite the claims that any senior can get the shot, anyone over 65 can get the shot for free. They said that Medicare hasn't caught up, and so you may be told that you have to pay $225 for the shot. They ask you to, especially it's happening, it seems, at CVS's. So make sure you vet that before you get the shot so you aren't surprised with a bill, or wait a couple more weeks. They're saying that the database will be updated and it'll be cleared, and it won't be a problem. But I just wanted to warn you in case you, the other aspect that we learned yesterday, that a prescription is required at this point, at least in Virginia, and it varies from state to state. So some states are going ahead and their attorney generals or whomever is saying anybody 65 and older can get it for free. We got it for free yesterday, at least as far as I know. We aren't going to get billed, but that's just something to know. And we got ours at Harris Teeter here in Falls Church.
And
Pat,
also, don't forget the.
Did you say you had a script though, or not?
Yes, we did have to
Okay.
get a script. I tried first and they said, please come back with a script or do an e-script. So it was very, very easy. I just called my doctor and they sent it over. It was
Make
no
sure the
problem.
script comes from Robert Kennedy, though.
Oh, stop. We're
Don't
not-
forget your flu shots too, which are very important, just as important.
Yes, and we did take advantage and got both of them yesterday, and I don't know which is causing my brain fog, the flu shot or the COVID, but anyway.
Yeah, Pat and I have been in touch, and I had the Shingrix shot, the second one, 2 days ago. And that's real important if sort of for seniors, especially if you've ever had shingles before, which I did earlier in life. So,
Or if you're immunocompromised.
Yes, to make sure I'm those 3 shots, and then of course pneumonia. So really look at your vaccines and make sure that you have the protection that you need. And I wanted to mention one other thing.
Wait, one more shot, Pat. There's the
Yeah.
RSV shot.
Oh yeah, RSV,
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
while you can, people, that's where I'm at. Get them while you can.
Get it? Yep.
The Foundation for Peripheral Neuropathy has posted their webinars. Upcoming in October is exercise and physical therapy for treating PN. Their November one is celebrating National Family Caregiver Month, and they will be talking about the role of caregivers in PN support. And their December webinar is on their PN research registry, what it means to get involved. So those are 3 webinars that I know of that are coming up, and you can always go to the foundationforpn.org to register for any of those. Glenn, do you want to say anything about any WNA webinars or anything coming up that we need to
Well,
share?
we actually are going to have our 4th Thursday of the month webinar this September, which I believe, if I'm right, makes it the 25th, right? Am I right about that? I never know what date it is. I always know it's the 4th Thursday.
25th. 25th.
25th at 4 p.m. Eastern. And this month it's going to be on Bowen therapy, which is a sort of gentle hands-on massage type of therapy, and how it can be applied to hopefully help relieve some neuropathy symptoms. We don't know what the October one is going to be yet. It is entirely possible, though, in November, because nobody else volunteered to do this, that I may give a reprise of Marty Price's webinar on PN supplementation and talk about B vitamins and lipoic acid. So those of you who are here today probably heard a good portion of it already.
All right, and could you put the name of the webinar and the date and time for the
Yes.
September 25th one in, please? And one more thing that I was really happy to share with you, Greg Masson, the gentleman who raised so much money with his e-bike tour for the foundation a couple of years ago, is finally launching his documentary, and it's called The National E-Bike Tour Launch and Documentary Screening. It will be on Saturday. I'll put this in the chat too, November 15th And he is announcing at the same time, I think it's 5 o'clock. He's announcing at the same time that he's starting a second tour, this time raising money for Johns Hopkins PN Research Center. So amazing man, amazing journey. And if you want to see the documentary that he's prepared on his first trip, the date is November 15th, starting at 5 o'clock, and I'll put that in the chat.
That's fabulous. I've been in touch recently several times now with Dr. Hogan. You know, a lot of research stuff is just in chaos in places like Hopkins. So it's just fabulous that he's doing that.
Yes,
Where will the documentary be available?
where or when? Let me see.
Where?
Let's see. Save the date. It looks like it will literally be at the Merkin Peripheral Neuropathy Regeneration Center at Johns Hopkins, but I will check that and make sure. I bet that it was going to be on Netflix originally, but I don't know if he succeeded in doing that or not. But we have a little bit of time until November. I just wanted to share that. I think that's amazing, and what a great effort on his part to raise awareness for PN. And I wanted to say one thing for Brenda Cheadle, because Brenda wrote in the chat and we didn't acknowledge it, something about the handicap parking, which I thought was really important to note because my husband has just finally gotten his. Talking about the card, Brenda, please.
When you get a handicap parking pass, at least in Virginia, along with that, they would send you a small wallet-sized card with your name on it. That way you can show the card if they should question whether that handicap pass was really yours or your neighbor's. So especially if you're going out of state, be a good idea to make sure you have that little card in your wallet that proves that you were legitimately issued a handicap parking pass.
You can also have what I call that hanging Chad, and you can take that with you places too. And it's good for the car you're in if you're in the car, I believe. So,
but Brenda's saying that extra step of carrying the card with you as the recipient proves that you haven't stolen it or taken it from somebody else, that you legitimately can use it. So I had no idea about that until you just said that, Brenda. So thank you.
Somebody stole our hang tag, not several years ago.
The one from the mirror, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that. Yeah, I didn't get a card, so I'm wondering if that's relatively new or not. Do you know, Brenda? I have not had that card, so I was thinking that.
I've always gotten the card, so.
Okay.
But not with the renewal, just with my initial one, and I just keep it in my wallet. I'm sure you could get a replacement card from the state.
Yeah, and I literally have carried the other one with me to other states and used it, so.
Oh, Kathleen Beckett has just said that in Wisconsin, they give you a letter that you must keep with you in your car in case anyone challenges your use. So Virginia's gotten a little smarter and given us a card. All right. I think.
Okay. It's almost 4 o'clock. It's 3:59. I'm just going to declare this meeting over, but we are going to overtime from 4 to 4:30 for those who want to stay and who didn't get their questions answered, or it's a social time. It is not recorded, so you can say some bad words if you want to, but anyway. So also, before we go to overtime, I want to thank everybody for their participation, because we had a great time today. And I think a lot of people learned a lot of things. I certainly did. And again, I'll be glad to be on Richard's panel. And